Hi listener, my name's Billy Bragg and welcome to the Back to Basics audio aid. When the decision was first made to do a Billy Bragg songbook, my mum went back to all those years me and Wiggy spent trying to work out what it was Ron Wood of the Faces was playing on those records and how he did it. And we spent hours looking at the Rod Stewart songbook but learning very little. The problem was, it was all written there, but in squiggly stuff, strung out on telegraph wires. You see, music is for musicians, piano players and people in orchestras. But this book is for guitar players, so you don't have to understand all the tadpoles and stuff. Here is how to play, in a day, the Billy Bragg way. Having said that, dear listener, you do need a little bit of musical know-how, if only to get into the Musicians' Union. Now, I think musical knowledge is all basically geography. That is, knowing where you're going. And the way to do that is always think of bass as down. So that is the deeper notes are always at the bottom. So this is kind of going up the neck. And this is going down the neck. And when you're looking at the strings, although the little skinny one looks like it's on the bottom, it is actually the top note, so it's top E, as opposed to bottom E. So you're going down the strings, or up the strings. Right. A New England is all bar chords, all the way through. A bar chord is where you use your index finger, that's the one you pick your nose with, to blank out all the other strings whilst you sort of does the job of the nut at the end whilst you play with others. You'll see on the notation that with each chord there's a little number next to it, like first or eighth or 10th at the D minor. What that basically means is you're putting your finger, if it says eighth, you're putting your finger between the 7th and 8th frets and then doing that shape below it. What I'm doing a lot of the time when I'm playing is playing the bass notes as well, the bass part as well. Especially in New England, there's this kind of finger drop down, something we did manage to nick out of the Ronnie Wood songbook, which on the record sounds like this. What I'm doing there is what the guy who wrote this songbook calls B flat stroke A. And what he means is I'm playing B flat and the bass root goes down to A. You just put your index finger down one other fret, so you get that. I don't at the F as well. So that happens quite a bit in New England, and it's also the mainstay of the Saturday Boy, which is done up at E. It's the second chord in the Saturday Boy, thus. That's it there. Another trick I often use is again a bass part, and occurs, if a song's in G, this occurs on the E and A strings when moving from the G chord to the C chord or vice versa, which is employing the A and the B note to get there like this, from G to C and back from C to G. And this turns up in a number of places. It's in between the wars, at the start of Between the Wars. Just that bit there. B, A, G. And in Strange Things Happen. The two notes A and B are also used, but to different effect, in the intro to The Myth of Trust. What's happening there is I'm playing the bottom E string as a drone, like this. And moving from A to B on the A string between the nut and the second fret, like this. And together, like this. Once you've established that rhythm, then you move right up the neck to the octave where the notes begin to repeat themselves, and using the A that is between the 11th and 12th fret and the B that is between the 13th and 14th fret, you just repeat yourself again. That descent is achieved by moving from the 14th fret B to the A, from the A to the G, from the G to the F sharp, from the F sharp to the E, and then back to the part at the beginning. The guitar riff in Island of No Return occurs between two chords, E minor and G. The first part is all under an E minor, and what you do is you hit that E minor and give it everything you've got, dear listener, and make the guitar ring, and whilst that chord is still ringing, just slide your finger up the D string to the B and A that are both up there, and play them backwards. That last note is the D string itself open, so it's B, A, open D. Then you go immediately from that to the bottom E string and play the bass G note there, and then back up onto that D string to the same B and the C that's just above it, like thus. C first and then the B. The two of them together, that's C, B, C, B. So you're going. So you put the two of them together and it should sound like this. This is one of those songs with lots of artistic license for you to play all the other strings and be as percussive, as noisy as you can. If you look at the music of Richard, you'll find there's a chord box there with absolutely no chords in it, and that's what you've actually got to play. You've also got to precede it with this. That's the bit with the no chords in it. The preceding piece was G on the E string, and then onto the A, D and G strings it's G, open A, B, open D, E, open G, G on the E string, and then that open chord. There's also quite a bit of that G to C bass line running in this song as well. The music for St Swithin's Day passed many times between myself and the guy who was notating this music, because he said that the chords that I was playing in it didn't exist, and I said they did. And although the titles of them look like rather complex, it's all very simple if you just base yourself around that C shape that is the second chord in the song. So you just put your fingers onto that, into that shape, so it plays like this. I suggest you don't play the bottom E string when you're using this C shape, because it's not really, shouldn't really be played. But from that shape, if you just put the finger that's on the A string back one string, so that instead of being at C here, it's at F in front of the other one, there. And you'll find that the move from the C stroke F chord to the C is quite simple. You just move your finger onto the next string like this. And simply then all have to do is take off the finger that is on the D string at E, this one, and put it behind the finger that's on the A string at C again, so it plays this chord. And then to get the G sus stroke whatever it is add 4, you just put the finger that's at C on the string below that, which is G. Okay, you just kind of walk your fingers across. Just let your fingers Do the walking, as they say. That's the simple way of playing it. That's why I can play it in the dark and Wiggy can't anyway. The riff in the Milkman of Human Kindness is all played on the B string, whilst I'm playing G and E minor. I'm letting those chords ring and playing this on the B string, which is C, D, C, B. And then under the E minor chord, I'm playing, which is E, D, C, B. And put together that's. You can afford in this to play the G string next to the B at the same time and let that ring because it's in harmony with the rest of the song. Once you've mastered this playing technique, you may like to try and be a little acrobatic about it by placing a guitar capo between the 6th and 7th frets, which is how I play it. It's actually simpler up there because the stretches ain't so long. Between the Wars is also played with a capo between the 6th and 7th frets, but other than that it's the same chord shapes as you see in the notation. Far and beyond the most difficult one when we came to write down all these songs was Love Gets Dangerous, basically because it hasn't got any chords in it, and that was one of the reasons why we had to make this flexi, dear listener. So what you do in Love Gets Dangerous is you just move this hand like this, and then your other hand that you're not doing that with, you do like this. See, it's really quite simple. What I'm doing is I'm only playing 2 strings at a time, mostly the A and the D string. I'm letting the A string drone on and play the bass part, while playing the lead part on the D string like this. What that is C sharp, D, B, C sharp, C sharp, D, B, C sharp. When you put the two of them together, they should sound like this. That's usually followed by this bit, and that's dropping down 2 strings to the E and A string, letting the E string do the droning on this one, and playing A and G sharp on the A string. And for the chorus, dear listener, we go beyond the realms, the frontiers of music, past those 2 dots on your guitar neck, and whilst letting the A string continue to play the bass part, we aim for the F sharp that is indeed at the between the 15th and 16th frets, which is here. And we just move between that and the D at the 12th fret on the D string, and the C sharp just below it. So you're going, that's F sharp, D, F sharp, D, C sharp, and with the droning A string, there is a guitar solo as well hidden away somewhere in Love Gets Dangerous, but I have this terrible fear that if I tell you absolutely everything, you'll be going out with a false nose and a dreadful Cockney accent, doing pretend Billy Bragg gigs. So I think we'd best leave it there. Thank you very much anyway, and good night.